let them take this. You got fucked like I got LASIK, yeah. I see straight, yeah, hop on spaces, we get crazy, yeah. Screen J for J, straight from the town hall to the stages, yeah. Big old places, just 6 months and now it's ageless, yeah. Appreciation, it's a motto, it's the way, yeah. Conversations and alignment and Jason's, yeah. Compilations of the dogs and the amazements, yeah. Juke the nation, we united, we the greatest, yeah. Juke, 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 juke. Juke, 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 juke. Juke for some juke, that's exchanging truth for truth. Soup, partly soup, that's the way that we can be moving, yeah. Juke, 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 juke. Juke, 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 juke. Juke for some juke, that's exchanging truth for truth. Soup, partly soup, that's the way that we can be moving, yeah. Take this, you got fucked like I got LASIK, yeah. I see straight, yeah, hop on spaces, we get crazy, yeah. Screen J for J, straight from the town hall to the stages, yeah. Big old places, just 6 months and now it's ageless, yeah. Appreciation, it's the motto, it's the way, yeah. Conversations and alignment and Jason's, yeah. Compilations of the dogs and the amazements, yeah. Juke the nation, we united, we the greatest, yeah. Juke, 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 juke. Juke, 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 juke. Juke for some juke, that's exchanging truth for truth. Soup, partly soup, that's the way that we can be moving, yeah. Juke, 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 juke. Juke, 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 juke. Juke for some juke, that's exchanging truth for truth. Soup, partly soup, that's the way that we can be moving, yeah.
They said it couldn't be done. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of alpha. A second before this call started, Meow turned to me and said, I'm going to go take a quick shower. I said, there's no shot, brother. And he said that he has 3 minutes of that song. And you look refreshed. You look good, brother. How you doing?
Dude, I'm not you, man. I don't take 40 fucking an hour to shower, bro. you know, before Kash to the shower, he will like face himself up, hold himself, put good milk on himself, and like
I want to say for the record,
up, and then so.
I don't like how much you've been thinking about me taking showers, but that's not the point today. We are here in the Jupe rally. No more shower stories are going to be had. We're going to get right into it here, folks. We have I'm not going to lie to you, this is a pivotal Jupe rally. There's going to be we have some major announcements to make. Some new things to talk about. It's not going to be it's not going to be a quick one. We're going to have a lot to discuss here, but I promise you we're going to have a lot of hopefully positive vibes at the end of it. But before we actually get into all that, it is a Jupe rally, but that doesn't free us from our legal commitment to play the unofficial Cadet theme song. Let's go.
Whoa!
That is right. We are back with a Jupe rally for you all today. And as I say, it's going to be a big one. The streets will be talking about this for a little while. Yeah. In case it says, don't you just love the Jupe theme song? I absolutely do. I listen to it whenever I'm in the shower, but we're not allowed to talk about that anymore. So let's talk about.
Why not?
What was that?
Why can't we talk about the showers?
I mean, we have serious business to attend to.
Maybe in showers. What is more serious than this? Come on, give me a break.
Well, I would say major announcements on the future of this Jupiter product suite and the Jupiter community.
Fine. You're right. Let's go.
But stay tuned for the Jupe Rally After Dark, where we'll get deeper into the shower routines. In case you don't know, my name is Kash. I am the cat herder over here at Jupiter, excuse me. And I'm a serial podcast guest, as the intern is now telling us. I was on like 3 podcasts that all came out basically back to back. Go check them out. Shout out to my guy Urpel. Shout out to my guy Austin. And I am joined here by the Web4 cat himself. Meow. 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 So, can't take your eyes off the lamp at the back. Yeah, that's a new setting. I don't know if that's going to stick around or not. This kind of, fireside chat kind of vibe. But we have a podcast gig. Shout out to Solana as we go through it. So, today what we're going to cover in this Jupe Rally, remember, different than a planetary call. In a planetary call, we talk a lot more about the specific kind of product updates, the news from around the world. We'll bring on Cat Corner. We do all this other kind of fun stuff. And let me assure you, we're not doing a Jupe Rally because we didn't have enough stuff to talk about on a planetary call. Bunch of stuff has happened. Transparency Dashboard from Blockworks came out. Jupiter Radar just came out. So now with Jupiter Mobile, you're going to be able to see notifications from other projects that you use across the Solana ecosystem, cementing Jupiter Mobile as the DeFi super app, and much, much more. But today we got some other business to attend to. And on the agenda today is an update on the Jupiter DAO, a fairly large one. So people will definitely want to stick around for that.
Very large one.
Yeah. Arguably the largest DAO announcement we've had in, I don't know, quite some time, frankly. And I'm very interested to see how the community reacts and excited for what it means for us. Then Meow's going to cook a little bit on Web4 and why it matters to us. We're going to be talking more and more about Web4 going forward, folks, because this is kind of a key part of the Jupiter vision and what we're going to be able to enable here. And then we're going to have an exclusive sneak preview of a new Jupiter product. Meow looking good, says Molu. We have. Can I say who the guest is to talk about the new preview?
It's obvious. Come on, let's go.
It is the Empress of the Jupiverse herself. May is going to be here. So as you know, when May's on the call, it's going to be a banger and you cannot go anywhere. So with all that said, what do you think, Meow? Should we just jump right into it?
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So we're going to start off here with the state of Jupiter and the Jupe DAO. And indeed, we have, as I say, a big announcement to make on this one. Sorry. Let me just show some love for May in the chat right now as folks are loving it. Shout out to Muse on the Web4 side.
Amazing. May's amazing.
May's been the best. There's no surprise there.
No doubt.
All right. So update on the Jupiter DAO. Let's get into it here, folks. Let's start off with an important bit of framing, which is that Jupiter as a whole stands at the edge of an inflection point. We're at a critical time in the future of finance right now. Never before has the opportunity been so great in front of us, but also never before has there been this much competition, right? We're seeing it from all angles. We're seeing not just on-chain, but even off-chain competitors making their foray into the world of crypto. And that's a huge opportunity for us. And Jupiter kind of being at the center of that picture really matters, but it's not going to be an easy journey. And in this kind of time, in this kind of critical period where we're seeing major institutions like BlackRock and Franklin Templeton, Stripe, Amazon talking about doing stablecoins, all of these people are coming on chain. And it's never been more important for Jupiter to double down and focus on the key things that matter. Already, we have some good stuff. We have the best product suite. Drop a little W in the chat if you agree with me on that one. Jupe.ag, the DeFi super app, everything that you might need all in one place. We have the very best community. Now, this one is the easiest and most obvious, which is, of course, the Jupiverse. All of you watching this right now, I can't even catch up with all the W's as I'm trying to talk and click at the same time. But just know that there's a lot of people saying W over there. And we have the best vision for the future in the Web4 vision that Meow's going to talk about. The Meow's already talked about, but he'll talk about again in a little bit. So that's what we have right now. And over the past 16 months since the DAO was created, and boy, it feels simultaneously like 2 months and 16 years at the same time. The DAO has done a lot of great stuff as well. It's helped to bootstrap the community. I do not think we'd have such a dynamic, vibrant community without the DAO there. It's activated hundreds of contributors, many of whom are watching this call right now, between the work groups, grant recipients, the regionals, event hosts, and many, many more. And through key innovations, it's kind of set the standard for a lot of what other DAOs are now doing. Key innovations like active stake and rewards, work groups themselves, verified feedback, and much more. Meow, anything else you wanted to throw in?
No, I'll say that I think it has been a very honestly a legendary and phenomenal process, creating like the largest DAO in the world, right? And honestly, I think we did so much to try and make it work, and it was Kash. And it's actually been I think and I feel very strongly that a lot of things that we are seeing now in the community and the work groups and everything and stuff, they were not possible. Like when the DAO, when people emerge through a community, right, the energy they have is like completely different. You know what I'm saying, you know, from everything else, right?
Mhm.
And then I feel like I also feel like by going through this process, I mean, honestly, it's really rough, right? You know what I'm saying? And then and to be fair, I think that a lot of people would correctly point out that you know, maybe the DAO hasn't returned the kind of like, you know, financial returns. See what I'm saying? You know, like that we don't see, right? But regardless, right, I think it has actually created a really, I hope, a extremely strong foundational for Jupiter moving forward. You know, because remember, guys, the game is still young. We are literally in the first 100 meters of a marathon, literally, right? You know what I'm saying, and I feel like you know, ideally, I think the way I think about it is, I think we are in the first 100 meters of a marathon, right? And I think that the DAO has taught us a lot about how to run this, how to run this place. Yeah,
That's right. So a lot of good stuff has happened.
That does make sense. What do you think? Does it make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's no, like I said, I don't think there's any world in which we'd be where we are at right now if it was not for the JUP DAO. And, you know, as you say, it's not always been easy, but I think we've learned quite a bit. That said, it is also worth kind of saying very explicitly that what got us here isn't going to get us where we need to go next, right? The next stage of 10 to 100x growth, you can't do the same things that you did to get to one point to do the next 100x, right? We've 100x'd already, but there's now still a lot of green field to continue to grow into. And there's something that's become clear. One of the things that we like to do with these calls, and hopefully people appreciate it, we try to be as honest as possible, right? Like we're not putting our heads in the sand. We're not pretending everything is great. We treat these calls the same way we would treat a board call if we had a board, where the goal is to be as honest as possible.
We have a board. We have a board. It's pretty obvious we have a board.
We have a board, yeah. And it's the 4,886 people that are watching right now. And so what we're going to try and do is, you know, always call it like we see it. We're not going to sugarcoat things. We're going to just be honest about where we are and where we need to go and what the best way to get there is. Even if it is difficult, even if it doesn't make everybody happy, we got to act in ways that are best for everyone in the community. And the thing that is, you know, I think it's become clear recently is that the current DAO structure is not working the way that it was intended to. We kind of wanted the DAO to come up as a, especially, you know, Meow, you were very pivotal in the early days of the DAO and the way it was designed. The goal was to kind of increase alignment, increase cohesion, increase trust, and kind of unify and coordinate a bunch of different people around the world as effectively as possible to move things forward. And, you know, that's not what is happening right now, right? Instead, right now, every time we're doing a vote, it feels like there's a ton of FUD. We have work group members who are, you know, having difficulty with token holders. We have community members who are mad at work group members. We have people mad at the team. We just, you know, there's this kind of cycle of this negative feedback loop that's happening with some of the FUD around the DAO right now. And some of it is justified and some of it is not justified. But the point remains the same, that right now the DAO is actively being counterproductive towards the growth goals that we want to have at Jupiter. And the same thing that we all want to see, which is more people using more Jupiter products everywhere, more people coming on chain, more people contributing to the vision of the future that is based in decentralized technologies. And that is just like a hard truth that we have to face right now. It's not, you know, anyone's idea of like a great situation to be in, but we'd be lying to ourselves if we didn't, you know, kind of acknowledge it openly and honestly here. Meow, what do you think about the kind of current DAO dynamics?
I think the current DAO dynamics are very sad. To be honest, yeah, that's sad. Yeah, kind of sad. Yeah,
we're laughing to save from crying, basically. Yeah, it is. It is sad.
I'm not crying. I'm just saying that I think a lot of is a situation where I think I think trust has kind of broken down. I think that a lot of things that even though they kind of haven't been that for example the whole Jupiverse group stuff is like there's a cliff, there's 1 year later, but people are acting like it's already like something, right? And to be fair, right? A lot of things that people were discussing about the a lot of people have complaints about even before the DAO reset vote. They were talking about how like there wasn't enough accountability and everything and stuff. They really want to see that wasn't done in time as well. So I'm saying that wasn't done in time as well. Make sense? So I feel like and also I think the WCT WCT thing is probably the straw that broke my camel back in many ways. I think that the fact that
the Wallet Connect airdrop that was just for people who had voted 24 out of 24 times or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think that's actually the thing that I think it was one of those things that actually like really broke my back, right? Like the community just fighting over that. And I think that that is a breakdown of trust, right? That I think is actually really important to fix, I guess, and we kind of refocus, right? Like really refocus on the core ideas, that we care about. Yeah,
that's right. I think it would have been, obviously it'd be great if everyone would sing in Kumbaya at all times. And again, there's many different factors in here. Certainly there's a shit ton that we've learned, right? That, maybe if we could do it all over again, we probably would have changed, right? Certainly there's some just general macro market factors that are at play. And certainly, honestly, so this is the kind of stuff that just happens over time, is that, people get very excited initially and they start to drift apart, or more stakeholders come. Quite honestly, as the DAO has grown and we've seen, hundreds of thousands of new wallets added to the staking, many more opinions have come in as well. And it's just led to the situation where, as I say, the DAO is not doing the thing that we want it to do, right? The DAO is not driving things forward. Instead, it's driving more FUD. And if you think about, even the last Jupe and Juice vote, despite passing by a fairly large margin, the amount of FUD and the amount of kind of problems that it raised and the amount of kind of, honestly, just anger that it elicited in the community, I think was...
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, I think hard. I feel very sad because it's very clear to me that like, okay, bro, you know what's hard now. What is hard, right? Is that everyone had good intentions.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying, right? Like the thing is, everyone had good intentions, right? Like, I mean, I know Jupe and Juice guys for a while now. I know they want nothing more than to help the Jupiter. They are actually very happy to stick to whatever Jupe they received until 2030 with me. I'm saying that, I mean, obviously, I know token holders, they care about Jupiter as well, right? So I'm saying, I know a lot of guys like, even our fiercest critics, right? Like whether it's like Matt the Gambler or Matthew, whoever, right? They really, I think they care about Jupiter, right? And they all have a certain like point in some sense, right? And I think what Mike said is actually important. He said loud minority, the majority love everything done. I appreciate that, by the way. It's actually really nice to say that. One thing that I do actually realize is that the loud minority fight the vibes like crazy.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying they really and to be clear, right? To be clear, I think that they created a situation whereby we really became, I would say, a very negative community. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that really is really painful for me. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because I feel like everyone's actually doing really hard. I'm saying, right? And like I'm just like having that very and for the last few months I tried to go like, okay, it's fine. But I think I've probably gotten to the point that it's not fine. Right.
Right. The truth is sorry, go ahead.
No,
the FUD is one component of it. Even if you let the FUD wash off your own back without sticking to it, the fact is it does affect the popular perception of Jupiter as a project, right? It affects us all. And even outside of the FUD, there is clearly just like some lack of trust that is happening here, right? So even if you write off all the FUD, the reality is, and it's in my DMs, I'm sure it's in your DMs, you see it in Discord, you see it in the Jupe Research forums as well, where people just are not having a good time. And it's, again, as I say, like not being productive in the way that we really would want the DAO to be productive. And again, going back to the criticality of this specific period of time, I'm talking here about the next 6 months, people. In the next 6 months, we're going to see billions and billions of dollars come on chain. We're going to see millions of more people come on chain. You have all sorts of new asset classes like tokenized equities and RWAs, and all sorts of cool experiments around permissionless asset issuance and social monies coming on. There's a lot that's going to happen. And now is not the time for us to be weighed down in this kind of fashion. And so it is going to be, with that said, we're going to, make an important announcement here. First and foremost, very important announcement. I'm nervous to even say it, but here it is, folks. Here's what we're going to do. In an effort to reset the vibes.
By the way, you should actually tweet it at some time, by the way. You
I can't tweet and talk. I'll tweet it when you're talking about Web4 stuff because I gotta.
No, anyway, just tweet it. Just tweet it now, like now.
I definitely cannot do that because I gotta go proofread it. But so anyway, we're delaying it because we don't want to go down this. Here's the thing. In this kind of critical time, what we need to do is focus, and be unified in order to grow. And if DAO votes are not helping that happen and they are actively counterproductive, then we have to take some action on it. So as of today, we're officially announcing that we will be pausing DAO voting through the rest of 2025. The goal here is not to kill the DAO. We're not ending DAO voting, but what we're going to say, we just looked in the mirror and said, hey, we need a reset here. We got to kind of rethink how things are operating. We have to better understand what the right way to go about this is. And we need to double down our focus on product and community growth during this kind of critical period, right? So there won't be DAO votes for the rest of the year, but that doesn't mean we're going anywhere. We're still focusing very heavily on three things. The first one is growing the Jupiter products and platform themselves. Ultimately, we are unified by our usage and love of these products that are going to be able to drive forward a new way of finance into the future. And we're going to focus even more on that. We're also going to continue to grow the Jupiverse into a productive global community. We're still going to be working with talented members of the community and giving them both funds and access and connections so that they're able to make an impact. We are still, if anything, we're going to be doubling down on the way that we're trying to turn the Jupiverse into a global movement. So you can expect even more IRL activations, more campaigns, more people coming on chain, welcomed by the community. So this is not a goodbye to the community. This is a doubling down into the community. Remember, the DAO was always the legislative arm of the community. It was not the same thing as the community. And so let me tell you loudly and clearly right now, we're focusing on products, we're focusing on community, and we're focused on empowering the community to create value together in new ways. Meow?
I think, first of all, I think it's very important to understand that ASR continue. Okay?
Yeah.
ASR will, because there are a lot of questions right now, ASR will continue.
Should I just go through the next few slides and then we can come back and pause?
Yeah, sure. It's not.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to keep going through this and hopefully we can have some folks or the intern can highlight some of the comments as well. Thank you. So there are some logistics of this voting pause as we double down and go into this refocus kind of mode. So the first one is ASR is going to be extended through the end of the year. So there will be ASR in Q4, 50 million per quarter Jup as always. In this case, ASR will be available for all stakers. It'll be time weighted, so you can't just stake the day before the ASR is going to be delivered. So we'll see how much you've had staked and for how long, but it'll go to all stakers as we kind of figure out what is going to happen with the new DAO in 2026 and our new approach to it. So ASR will continue and will be available for all stakers, and we're extending it through the end of 2025 as per the Jupiverse vote previously. So this is already approved from the DAO perspective. So ASR still happening. Work groups still happening. They're work groups, they're working very hard and they're doing very good work. So all previously funded work groups will stay active. So CAWG, Jup and Juice, et cetera, are going to stay active, but no new work groups will be created and no new Jup emissions will be sent out except for the previously approved work groups. So CAWG, Jup and Juice, they have Jup allocations as a part of their initial proposal. I think those are actually due in 2026, if I'm not mistaken. But any work group that still has an approved kind of budget from the DAO will receive it from the DAO treasury. But nothing new. So no new work group votes, no new Jup emissions from the treasury. In fact, on the treasury side, the community reserves will not be touched until governance resumes. We remain committed to the importance of governance. And so the community reserves belong to the community. They will not be touched until the DAO is back in action in early 2026. The Jupiter team, though, will continue to fund community efforts from the Jupiter team treasury. So as I said, the efforts to activate talented contributors who are in this chat right now is not going anywhere. Rolani asked, what about the trial work groups? The trial work groups will also be having conversations with the team as well, and we will be funding them as well. Those are going to be case-by-case basis. We're going to have to talk those through, but we've talked to, the DevRel folks, the Uplink folks, and I know we still have a few more to talk to. But so we're going to bring those stuff in-house. They're still going to get the resources they need to do great work. But this is really about kind of solving the FUD that comes around these DAO votes and figuring out new mechanisms that align people more tightly. And finally, on the Treasury and Reserve side, Litterbox Trust, nothing changes on that side. It'll remain untouched, as previously mentioned. Jupe Sol revenues, I think there's like $38,000 worth of Jupe Sol right now in the DAO Treasury. That's going to continue to accrue to the DAO Treasury. No changes there as well. So basically, in short, what happens here, ASR continues. Work groups that have already been funded continue. Work groups, for the future, will just be working directly with the team, and there'll be no new proposals for work groups, no new Jupe emissions, except for what's already been approved. Treasuries will remain untouched until governance comes back in. Really, this means the team is going to be stepping up a little bit more from a spend perspective. Before I talk about looking ahead, Meow, anything else that you wanted to add in over here? Brilliance and success.
Just finish first. I want to go back to the very top. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me finish here. So looking ahead. So, okay, we're not doing DAO votes for the rest of the year. Then what are we doing? What is this going to look like? Well, we are going to return, as I say, in 2026, probably around Cat's-Demble, but we're going to see you as we get there with a fresh approach. And so over the next 6 months, the goal is to work very closely with key community members, including the people on this call right now, to figure out the right framework that helps the Jupe DAO operate more productively with more trust and more alignment in it. That might look somewhat different from the way the Jupe DAO operated before, right? So this is not going to be an incremental change, because what's clear right now is that incremental changes are not going to get us where we need to go. So we're going to come back with a fresh approach, and people, the Jupe research forums will remain open. The feedback.jupe.ag will remain open. We want your ideas. We want to hear, if you could just kind of wipe the slate clean, what would we do, right?
Yep. Okay. So
okay.
Just one real quick, I see some comments here, is that I feel very strongly. Okay, I feel very, very strongly that that our model is fundamentally correct. Okay, we have a DAO that's funded, right? And we have a DAO that's funded, the DAO votes on critical faces to represent them, right? And we have this crazy emergence of like a great talent from all over the world that is funded through a transparent mechanism, right? And then there's a certain like hierarchy, non-central hierarchy. There's a certain like flow, right? Where people kind of like increase their like prominence in the community, right? I feel like that's actually very, very important. Now, the what I think is not quite working right now is that as we went from being a very small and new community, honestly no community, right? In the first year, to the second year where things are like substantially larger, a lot more people involved, and a lot more things down, and the market conditions are rocky, right? Now, I think we're really starting to see the frameworks that we created in the past break down, right? Now, and critically, right, is that yes, J4J, there you go, J4J, right? Now, no, ASI is the same, right? Now, but critically, right? Now, we didn't critically is that I think we were gonna make more like piecemeal changes, right? So I think we're gonna make piecemeal changes, like
small incremental changes one at a time.
Yeah. Like we're gonna do the DAO. We're gonna do a small DAO thing, accountability thing. We're gonna do a cash and do the delegate thing, right? The core problem, right, is really that like, but we don't think that the trust is there right now to do any more votes, right? See what I'm saying, right? I think what's actually really important is that really important is that like I think we are going to do a big restart system, instead of doing this. So we're gonna do a big restart. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, ASR will continue. Can't say that clearly enough. Through the end of 2025, it has been extended, in fact, and all the stakers will be eligible based on time-weighted stake. So that is the real goal here. As VDMD says, shout out to VDMD, by the way. It was a bold experiment, a huge learning experiment. And by the way, we did learn a lot. So that when the DAO comes back, it's going to be better, stronger, faster, leaner, meaner than ever before, because we have all these learnings. And the idea of kind of refreshing and coming to it with a new approach is that we can actually do a bunch of changes all at once, rather than having to do these kind of piecemeal and so on and so on. As Marja says, reorganization of the DAO seems very needed. And Marja, I saw a question around.
So I completely agree and stuff. I think that Yeah, I think that the whole grant, the whole way grant is like the whole way. Yeah, but, it's actually down to the O, right? It's actually down to the O.
Shout out to my
But
guy Bjorn.
yeah, there you go. But we can't do we were gonna do a 2.0. Okay, guys, we were gonna do a 2.0 when the plane is flying, and we fix the plane. Change the plane. Does it make sense? But I think it's better to land the plane first, right? And fix the plane, do the plane, discuss the plane, show the plane, and fly again. Does it make sense? Right? Because I feel like and also yeah, precisely. And also I think the work groups right now are really honestly I do very much feel that the work groups right now are like I would say that the current work groups are 50%, right? I feel like we are 50% correct in how the work groups are set up. However, right? However, the issue is that the negative 50% that's not so correct is overwhelming the 50% is correct. See what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feel like that is how I feel right now, right? I feel like everything they do right now about like I feel like everything they do right now about DAO, about the work groups and about the ASR, and it's like 50% correct, right? And 50% maybe not so correct, right? And what's happening right now is that the 50% that's not correct is overwhelming the conversation, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? We don't even get any chance at all, right? To focus on what is correct. You know what I'm saying? You know? Yeah. That's the issue, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you put up Buddha thing? Buddha?
Which one?
Fairy cat. Okay, so there are two comments that are important, right? Fairy cat's comment and Buddha's comment. Okay, now the DAO does actually do grouping. However, grouping is useful. You see what I'm saying? Right? It's useful because like it means consensus, right? It means that okay, cool. All right, there's a certain consensus in like creating that decision. See what I'm saying? You know about in creating that solution, right? I think that's actually very powerful. You know, can you put up the fairy cat real quick? Working groups are thinking. Now, fairy cat, I completely agree when stuff like
as do I.
Stuff. Was that sorry?
I said as do I. Continue.
Yeah. However, the problem is not whether cooking or not. The problem is that whether the community feels like cooking or not. Right, and whether people feel like it's like whether the JUP allocated to them is worthy or not. See what I'm saying? Right, and people feel like, and there's a lot of problem right now because people feel like okay, the JUP given is like not we're not treating JUP with careful or you care. See what I'm saying? And that's a big problem. So what is actually important here is that we actually they get some time, right? I'm saying we won't trigger community anymore. So hear me out. Okay. The reason for pausing is this. Okay. Now the reason for pausing is that we won't trigger the community anymore on the work group stuff. Because right now every work group right now because of the extreme level of anger is very triggering, right? We constantly trigger community. You know what I'm saying? Right? Does that make sense? And I think that what's important is the pause first. We stop triggering them first. We just stop it first. See what I'm saying? Right? And we give the existing work groups enough time, right? To prove that they are to prove whether they are, to prove how they are, what they are, when they change. See what I'm saying? And I'm sure there's so much fun to learn. Right? You know what I'm saying? There's so much fun to learn, right? And they will learn, right? So I feel like that's actually how I think about it. So it's not about whether they are cooking or not cooking. It's more like we actually need to create a situation where the community sees the way they're done, and then we also have an appropriate output, right? Such as right, depending on the output. See what I'm saying? You know, whether they will actually kind of how much token they get, things like that, right? See what I'm saying? So I feel like again, it's not. I realize very careful. First of all, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for always being here. I really appreciate what you're saying. I think that right now, I want to emphasize again, right, that the key thing right now is that the DAO has gotten to the point whereby it is becoming triggering. There's a DAO, there's the community, there's a DAO, there is the work groups and the community workforce. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the token holders, right? And right now there's no alignment. There's no alignment right now. You know what I'm saying? And triggering a lot of like anger. You know what I'm saying? You know, right? At triggering a lot of problems. You know,
that's right. Yeah. So just to recap, because I know we're up to almost 8,500 people watching. To recap here, we're pausing DAO votes for the rest of the year. ASR will continue on through the rest of the year just based on your time-weighted stake. There will not be votes, so there won't be votes for the next few months. Governance will return in early 2026 with a fresh approach that allows us to be more productive and allows us to bring the community together. DAO 2.0 is on the way.
We'll learn. We have to take. We have to. Kash, can you go up to the slides? The first
Sure.
the slide. Let's just show everything. Yeah, cool. All right. So guys, basically we are pausing the DAO. All right, to focus on these three things. Right.
Yep.
We are going to we're going to number one, get back to growing Jupiter products and platforms. Okay. We have a lot of like things in the pipeline, like a lot.
Yeah.
A lot, and we have to focus on them, right? And the second thing, and the second thing is that we are actually we're not stopping on growing Jupiverse. Okay, we're gonna keep growing Jupiverse. Okay, we're gonna grow the Jupiverse into a productive global community.
Yes,
cool, right? In fact, if you're doubling down on that, right now. The thing to do with that. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, like, the major difference here is not that, like, oh, we're foregoing the community to only focus on product. Yes, we want to focus on product, but we actually want to do even more with community. And in order to kind of fund those efforts, we just realized that the current way that the DAO works to fund these kind of efforts is counterproductive and leads to a lot of unhappiness. We still believe it's important. And rather than kind of put the entire community through the pain and FUD and disagreements that happen there, the team will just fund it, right? So the team is going to continue to fund it. We are absolutely still investing in community. We are absolutely still looking for talented contributors. We are absolutely going to do even more stuff around the world on a regional IRL level. It's actually one of the things I'm most excited to work on personally. There's a bunch of stuff that is going to continue to happen here.
So Skeller says that can pull a Skeller's thing?
Yep.
So no, there will be new efforts funded, right? So I'm saying, but you funded the team. Yeah.
Yes. There will not be efforts funded by the DAO treasury, which is where a lot of this kind of anger and resentment and triggering is happening from. Instead, the team is going to step up and we will just pay for it because we know it's important. We all, I think everyone on this call agrees that it's important for community efforts to happen. But if the problem was not the community efforts, the problem was the way that they were funded. And that's what we're changing.
It overshades the good work that people are doing.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what pains me the most, by the way. It pains me the fucking most. It's like, we have like really great people who want to do great things for like the Jupiter community and the Jupiverse and stuff, and for the crypto space, right? And for the world, right? But it becomes overshadowed, right? See what I'm saying? So, and to be fair, the entire grant process right now is also not very transparent, right? So it's like not transparent. It's not transparent. It's more like it's not very clear right now what the metrics are, what is being done now, things like that. See what I'm saying? So we need to kind of create a more transparent growth effort whereby we give smaller grants to more people and then have them show feedback. See what I'm saying? In a way that like there's the rise is like the effort is more consistent. See what I'm saying? So getting this grant system right is actually what we're going to do, right? And then that will also inform how the DAO is going to be shaped when it restarts. Kash, did I say correctly? Kash?
I think that's right. So as far as Marsh's question here around team taking over funding for trial groups as they see important, correct, indeed. So we're going to continue to fund stuff, except instead of having to go and kind of make the case to hundreds of thousands of people and kind of get them on board, we'll be having more kind of closed room conversations and paying for it not from the DAO treasury, but rather from the team treasury.
But also, but again, like what's actually very important for me is not team, right? What's actually really important here is that like we need to move to a process, right, where almost like the graduation process is more obvious and more clear for people. See what I'm saying, right? Yeah. Like I don't even think we should do trial groups right now. I think we should just give out like smaller grants. See what I'm saying, and letting people kind of like grow into it, right? I feel like that's actually going to be pretty important. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we need a much more open trial process whereby the community can actually see what I'm saying, right? How things evolve. See what I'm saying?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
On the ASR side, to answer Rolex question, so yes, previous quarter will go out in July. The Q3 ASR will go out in, I think it's October. I'm not great with the calendar. And then the Q4 ASR will go out in January. So yes, those will still continue at pace. I know there was another question around, well, hey, if we don't have to vote, does that mean everyone gets it? Yes, you'll have to go and claim it. It will be claimed in the form of staked JUP, but it will be available to all stakers. And just so everyone knows, we looked at like a bunch of different models of how to continue ASR, tying it to product usage, for example. But in talking to some members of the community, if you have a large amount of staked JUP and it's on like a ledger that you're not actually using to actively trade or actively use Jupiter products, then you would be cut out, which doesn't seem very fair. Given that we're doing this kind of pause and reset to reevaluate, the goal is just be, hey, let's just be as inclusive as possible and say everybody who stakes from now until the end of the year is going to get ASR. All you have to do is go and actually claim it in the form of that staked JUP. So you will not have to vote in order to receive it. I do think that the main kind of point to make here, though, is hopefully what this kind of this frees us up to do, both for the team and for the community itself, is focus on product and community rather than politics. Right? That is where the strength of Jupiter has always been. That's why Jupiter is strong, is because we have an unparalleled product suite with products that create tons of value and that are just the best in the goddamn industry. And we have the best goddamn community in the industry. Both of those are where we're going to focus on. If you ask me, that is bullish. Those are the areas that we should be focusing on. And I think that this is going to allow us to come back much stronger with the DAO 2.0 in January or so. Okay, cool. And the last thing that I just wanted to say real fast, I think we'd put this into a slide as well. A big thank you to all the voters, right? So everyone that has, like, again, just to reiterate this part, Jupiter would not be where it is without the DAO, without all the conversations, without all the voters, without the late nights on Twitter Spaces, not without the 5-person VC calls until 4 a.m. You know, Jup and Juice, I'm looking at you folks. All of that was critical to where we got to right now. You know, it was not always ideal, obviously, because you start things and you kind of learn on the fly, as Meow was saying with his plane analogy. And where we're going to go now is land the plane for a little while, put it in the hangar, fix it up, and get ready for takeoff again in 2026. And as Slick says, that is why Jup is home. Cool. Jup feels sexier now because of the boldness of this move. Yeah, it's an important time. We make bold moves because that's the thing that happens. We could have kind of pretended and stick around for, you know, it made nothing change, just pretend everything was fine, but that's not the way we do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some insight into how things evolved. Yeah, we are like, we were actually gonna do a number of small things to fix the vibes and everything. But then we are like, okay. But at some point we're like, hey, you know what? Like the vibes are so bad right now that that's just not fair for everyone, right? It's not fair for the team, not fair for the community, not fair for anybody, right? And it can pull up the super voter here.
The super voter?
Yeah, super voter and stuff. Yeah. So I think I thank you so much. I really miss voting as well. I really miss voting as well. Yeah, but I think it was sad for me too. You know what I'm saying? But I think we have to just focus. You know what I'm saying? I think this also I think it will not be possible for us to figure out a better grant model and work group model. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. I do think that what we figured out, the grant to work group, to travel group to work group, is fundamentally the correct process. Right, you know what I'm saying? And as we actually get more revenue streams for the DAO, as we actually get more economic opportunities for the users to spread, that model will become way better, right? You know what I'm saying? And very dynamic. But we couldn't really do that right now. You know what I'm saying? It was like every time we try to change anything, the vibes actually became really bad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's everything that we're doing, right? Yeah, so we have to pause it.
That's right.
Yep.
Folks, there's a lot of questions about something in the chat. We will get to that in just a little bit. Just hold on for right now. I think that right now the main thing to kind of appreciate is what is going to change. No more DAO votes in 2025 so that we can focus. No Jup emissions from the DAO treasury except for previously approved work groups. And ASR for all stakers is going to be extended through the end of 2025. Right? That is a change. I know that there's a lot of talk in the community what we're going to do with ASR in 2025. That's going to come from the leftover unclaimed Jup from Jupiverse, as we discussed back in December or whatever it is. So that's where that's going to come from. What's not going to change, though, Prior work groups are going to continue to execute at a high level. We're going to still hold them accountable. In fact, we're going to be mandating quarterly reports in JUP research and some other things there. We're going to continue to invest in global community growth very aggressively. Here's actually the basic point. Now is the time to put the foot on the gas. Now is the time to accelerate. And that's really what we're going to do. We're not pulling back from anything. We're doubling down so that we can move even faster. That is the real takeaway from this. And lastly, we're not going to change our commitment to governance. We still think that the DAO has a lot of promise. We know as a fact that the voter base is incredibly talented and has great ideas. And we just need to have a better system in order to enable all of that. So that is the key stuff over here. All right, let's see. What is Meow reading? Says Greenhouse Media. Global community growth. These calls are critical. And Slick says, these calls are crucial. And not a lot of founders take the time to do this. Respect to you guys. It's cool that Twitter alone says this. It's super positive and so on. Appreciate that. Slick. Global community growth is Hafe. Came for May. No May. Going back to sport. No, don't go anywhere. May's going to come on soon. Don't worry. She's coming on soon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Varja says, good decision. Yeah. So it's encouraging to see some folks here. I'm sure that there's going to be some other thoughts.
Can you put the one on Mayor Doge?
Mayor Doge.
Yeah. The pause thing is like surprising to me too. I never thought I would. I never thought I'll do this. Yeah. You know, I never thought I'll do this. Yeah. You know. Yep. But I think it's important. Yep. Yep. That's it.
Yeah. And I think there's fun things that we can think about on the Jupiverse side as well, kind of going forward here. But a lot of stuff needs to change. That is the kind of key point here. All right.
I'm just so excited to get better product. You know, I think that we do have a lot of like, I've been trying to, I feel like we are gonna have like a lot of like stuff coming up on the product side of things, on Jupiter side of things, on the Jupiter side of things, on the JUPNet side of things, and then on the mobile side of things, there's a lot of stuff going on. And also, I know you have big plans for the Jupiverse. I plan Jupiverse too.
Absolutely.
So and we are gonna take time, guys. Yes, this is important. Okay, we will take everything that we learned in the last 18 months, and come back with a DAO structure that people will love. That's the goal. Yeah.
That's the idea. That's the idea. Focused, moving fast. That's the game plan here. So major change over there. I'm seeing the next slide. Meow, did you change up the slide sequence?
Yeah, I did. I think.
Okay. So the next one is we're going to bring up our guest next. Then we'll talk about Web4 a little bit later.
Is she here? Yeah.
She is here. Can we please get a little JM in the chat for the Empress herself? She forgot her crown at home, but I'm proud to say May has joined us.
May, let's go! Let's go for May. Let's go! Jam. Let's go. Jam.
Hello.
Yay! We can hear you, May. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's been intense.
All right. Well, May, I'm going to let you and Meow take this over for a sec so I can go get this tweet out. But indeed, we have a sneak peek of something new called Jupiter Studio. What is Jupiter Studio? Or actually, first, you want to address this diary entry right here.
I think just walk us through the tweet, tell us a story what happened. You know, I think
yes.
I think
it's a fun story.
It's a fun story.
It's a crazy story.
It's a fun story.
Yeah.
Like it's such the story that can only happen in the trenches.
I know, it's crazy. Like, open my eyes to what can happen. It's like
share story.
Yeah. So this week, I don't even remember the days now because it's like a blur. But I think like 2 days ago, I was testing this like creation platform that we are working on, and then I deployed a coin, and then I deployed a coin to test like the features on a platform. I wanted to see like how the things will line up with like all the different like features that we have, and then like I click on like deploy, and after that I saw that token like just get like bought up on a bonding curve very, very quickly, and then it graduated and it pumped. So I'm like, it was like pretty wow. Like
How do you
pretty,
feel, by the way?
pretty
How do you
intense.
feel to
Like
how do you feel to wait, first of all, when you deployed it, would you have any like idea that it was gonna go at all?
no, because it's like how do they know so quickly? And it was very, very fast. Like the first buy just hit the wallet very, very quickly, and somehow there was like an appetite for it, and it really just like went like very fast, very, very quickly. It was very, very fast. I think like within 15 minutes or something, it was really like a very, very high market cap. So it was like pretty crazy. So I'm like, okay, this is intense.
How do you feel? How do you feel after that? You know, like how do you feel after that?
Like scared, like like this is like I'm just like testing the platform, and then like this coin just went like pretty big.
Yeah,
Scared,
yeah,
and
yeah.
also like I guess bewildered, like, oh, these are people in the trenches, like these are the degens, and um it's like eye-opening.
So what happened afterwards? Yeah. So how do you come to the so how do you so what comes now? What comes now? You know? Yeah.
What comes now? I'm gonna focus on the platform, on building the platform, and on thinking about what we can do for like the for you guys, for the community. And I'm pretty excited. um yeah, like it was fun for me when I was just like testing out the features on the platform, and learning about about all the things that we can do.
Can you can we go at the slide real quick? One slide up, real quick. No, up. Yeah. So basically, I think So you wanna just share a little bit more about the token configuration when you were doing because the studio allows you to really set configurations, right? So what you wanna just share a bit more of those?
Yeah, so I chose like a starting market cap and a graduation market cap, and then you can set things like the token supply that's vested to the creator wallet, and the time frame. So there were like a bunch of configuration options that you can set. Yeah, which is like pretty powerful. I think there are a lot of things that I learned about when I was trying out the features.
It's funny. Someone is saying that I was like, "Okay, can someone pull out the chat?" No, I'm not mad. It was just super stressful. It was just super stressful for all of us because like it started running, and then I think I May called me. She was like, "Hey, what should I do with this?"
Yeah. Like I don't know, I was like just like,
It's
okay, I'm just going to go to sleep, like the empress needs to go to sleep.
and anyway, I think it may you anyway. I think what I was saying is that I think this is actually a really good example, right, of like how of some of the token details, right? So I'm saying about how like so there are some really unique features, right? For example, like 20% of the token supply is locked for 6 months. So I'm saying,
Yeah.
And also you also had the swap fees that can be made, right?
Mhm.
And also like the graduate LP. Yeah, so I think I think what are the plans, for this, like what are your plans for the creator rewards? Yeah.
I think like the creator fees that I earn can go towards saving wildcats, because I kind of feel like this this cat is a little like wild. He just like made a speed run, straight escape to the exit. Like he was deployed and he just got like adopted by the trenches immediately. So that was pretty wild. So I think it'll be cool to send like the swap fees for this coin towards saving wildcats, whether it's like real wildcats like rescue cats, or maybe like communities out there who kind of have a wildcat spirit. Like, yeah, I think that'd be cool because it's like really unexpected, and I think maybe it can be a net good for us. We just have to like figure out something.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, you wanna go next slide? Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so you wrote more stuff here. I guess people can read about Jupiter Studio here.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you want to
It's really I mean like I didn't really look too much into things out there, but when I was playing with the options, I learned a lot, and I felt like it was easy to get started, even for someone who doesn't know too much about all of these things. There are presets that I can click on, and then I can make cute pictures, and I have a lot of like hey, check out my studio page. I think it's live, and I posted it, and I think it'd be really cool if we can have ways for the community to come and say hi, collaborate,
next slide.
and
You go next slide.
I don't think there is a. Oh yeah, it's
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's really cool, right? Because you want to share some of the key community features that you on the studio page.
Yeah. So like you can add a tweet, you can add a video, you can add a text, and a text renders in Markdown. So you can check out the song that I really enjoyed up there. There's a hyperlink actually.
You share a
opens up
screen.
to your
You want
Spotify.
to just share a screen real quick, or just like and just go through some features. Yeah. So what was your thinking when you were holding? Wait, hey, hello,
Yes,
my man, you're
tweet
back.
is out. The tweet is out. I'm back. Yeah. All right. May, do you want to try sharing your screen here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's trying to
maybe.
share screen.
She's trying over here.
I don't
Jupiter's.
even have that page open. Let me open the page.
She's opening it up right now. But Jupiter Studio, indeed, the cat, the test cat, kind of went a little bit wilder than anybody expected.
The test cat that ran away. He ran into the wall.
Can we also give a little W for May's writing skills? Meow, you and I have a lot to learn on how May writes. I really enjoyed reading that diary entry. I thought that was
You did.
really great. Yeah, I like
You
that
guys
a lot.
like my diary?
I did actually like the diary.
You should write more diary entries. Diary of the intern.
This is a real testament to the power of the trench.
I tweeted. I think May is a generation intern. You know. I do. I think May is a generation intern. Yeah.
Just an intern trying to get some sleep.
Sleep
forget
is
it,
not for
man.
interns.
You're not gonna get sleep.
Sleep is for full-time people only.
Very exciting intern life. Okay. Let me share.
Let's see if May has it here. Boom and bam. There we go. There's the actual page. Nice.
I'm like on half my laptop screen, so I don't know if it looks weird.
Looks all right. Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, so it's really fun. You can edit the banner, put in a banner that you want, and then put in like a
creator.
Yeah, you can change the. We don't have it yet, but I think like you can change the metadata up here, so you don't have to send us tickets anymore. And then like this stuff is integrated onto the token page. You can see the banner over here. You can see the content in here as well. So yeah, it's like right on the token page for people. So I think like one really fun thing for me was I didn't have to tweet about it. I can just put it in here as text. So like you can add text, you can write it in Markdown, and then it will show up in the creator notes. And this is like a Markdown link. So if you click on this, you can listen to my song.
Really, if a song? What the fuck?
Not
is
my
that?
song. I mean, like it's just a song that I thought had great vibes.
But why can't you just like why can't you just like what can you just like put it embed directly though? You can do it.
Because the engineers told me that it's very Friendster to embed music in there, and they refused to let me vibe along. You know,
no, you have to embed it. We have to embed it. We have to embed it.
May's the only 60-year-old intern working right now. By the way,
I think Meow is from the Friendster era, so they might be right. You know.
You got to embed it. It's much better. It's much better. You play it though. You can play a YouTube video, right? You can play it, right?
Yeah, you can play the YouTube video. Why is Kash covering his face?
you're chatting for this.
Okay, we don't have to play the whole thing. We could probably, yeah.
And then you can also see the what you get kind of thing over there.
Yeah. So
Oh, wow. So
you
as a
can see-
creator, so you link your social too. You link your social as well.
You can link your social. And I think like one useful thing would be like if you link your social, then people know that it's from the like right creator. If you have like a lot of imposter coins out there, then we can integrate this onto the Jupiter page. So a lot of helpful stuff.
And also like holder comments.
Yeah, I think this is fun too. Like we set it right now to like $10 of vibes. So if you hold $10 of vibes, you can say something here. And I'm quite like excited about building out like tools for the community to contribute content and to kind of like tell us what they want to see. So like with the Jup Enjoyers stuff, we had the community come together to create art from the grounds up. And there's just like so much creativity out there that I think makes like the whole like crypto space a lot more interesting than when it's just like the creator doing things on their own. You know, like when everyone comes together, you have like people who feel inspired by a project contributing something. I think it just makes like the whole thing a lot more fun.
Let me jump in real quick. Well, 1 second. Yeah, there's a few questions on here that I just want to clear the air on. So people said the mod team banned my friends for simply asking what Vibe is, and it's still getting verifiable estate for everyone. No, they will not. If you got banned from the Discord for asking about Vibe, shoot me a DM and I'll make sure personally that you get reinstated. That was an artifact of the fact that this was not an intentional situation, quite honestly. So this
I'm
was
sorry, everyone. I was just scratching my ass at night, you know, and then testing the platform, and then like it's like after midnight. And so I think like the mods probably had a very chaotic situation.
They were, God bless the mods. They were not prepared for it. It's absolutely not their fault. This is kind of a surprising turn of events, honestly. And so that's the way that they ended up doing it. Shoot me a DM personally with your Discord username if you've been banned, and just let me know that you got banned for this, and I'll make sure that you get reinstated. I'm at Kash Donda on Twitter. Do not open a ticket, says Knock from Discord. Just DM me and we'll take care of it like that. Apologies for anyone that was affected by that. Just an artifact. You heard how crazy the situation was. It's not the kind of thing that we could have been prepared for, honestly.
Yeah, Rilani said I have so many ideas already to use that platform. So yeah, maybe you can bring up.
The main thing here is that what is your moving forward? What do you think is your main aspirations for studio? You know, the studio product.
I think like people are just seeing this for the first time today. So if you're someone with a community, you're a creator, let us know what we can do to help you, and then we can spend some time figuring out creator tooling and all of that, because I think like
community. So you mentioned community tooling. That's right.
Creator tooling and community tooling. So we can do things like allowing your community to post comments, verified comments, governance. A lot of things that we can ideate on and add to here, because I think like the community wants to do things, like for their favorite projects, but sometimes they're just really, really hard to coordinate or to have like the tools to do things. So yeah, with CTO products and all that, we can figure out ways to help people to coordinate and to do stuff for their coins.
Kash, any questions? Yeah.
Well, I mean, my main question is when can we see this actually live in production?
It is live in production.
No. To create for new creators.
For new creators.
Yeah. So I think like for today we kind of want to focus the conversation on talking about creator tooling, and maybe spend some time looking into the configuration on the site so that people understand how this works. Because there are a lot of things that you can configure, like starting market cap, graduation market cap, your token base, your LP log. So
can you go back? Actually, can you put a slides real quick? The slides.
Yeah, May, I'm going to kick you off the screen. Goodbye, May. It was nice knowing you. Yep, here we are.
And go up. Yeah.
You,
So
you don't want to look at my cats.
you want to just go through real quick? You can go
Yeah, so there's configuration so there are some defaults on the site. So for example, the swap fees will be split 50-50 between the creator and the platform. The LP pool as well, and it is locked for a year, and then it can be claimable 50% by the creator and 50% it can be claimable, 50% of it can be claimable by the creator after 1 year of lock, and you can set your token supply to be vested for 6 months or 12 months within a range of 0 to 30%. And so those are the creator benefits. And in terms of like the settings for your token, you can set a starting price or a starting market cap, a graduation market cap. And I think the range is really, really wide. So you can do anything from like a small thing if you're just experimenting and trying to learn about the features, you can go something small. Or if you're like, very committed and you think you are ready to full send it, you can go for a more intense starting price and graduation price. And all of these are very customizable. So you can also hit the custom button at the end and just do what you want.
Pretty sick tech, I gotta say. All right, so Jupiter Studio in a way, but the kind of key point to have here is that creator tools on Solana are going to get a little bit of a makeover. Hopefully, long-term alignment being created by creators and the communities that are there. Hopefully, more community content and community kind of interaction and more certainty, alignment, and transparency.
Can you put the hello? Who is this guy?
Yes.
Okay, so over here is interesting, right? Because like it actually is up to a dev, right? Something I think the reality is that like in our current in the current setup, the dev can set a very big high pool, right? And what would actually be interesting here is that now there's actually a very, very big incentive, right? So I'm saying for the creator to kind of raise a community to work together to make it LP worth something. See what I'm saying? So that's actually a big deal, right? To really align the community and the creator to do things together to make the LP worth something, right? Now, and here's the important part, right? Is that the developers can certainly choose what to do, right? The developer can certainly go like, hey, you know what? Can certainly burn the tokens, for example, right? Or distribute some of the distribute tokens. They can burn the tokens, right? They can do whatever they want. See what I'm saying? Right? I think the crucial thing here is that I think the creator here has to the creator can also pass the control of tokens to someone else too. See what I'm saying? Or just choose to just give it over time. See what I'm saying? But I think having the optionality, right, is pretty important here. See what I'm saying? I think that's actually a key thing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right. All right, I think that is it. Oh, somebody asked, so is this different from Jup Lock, or will Jup Lock change to this?
Jup Lock is like a service, a feature that we are using to lock the tokens.
That's right. Okay, well, I'm sure people will have more questions, but did want to come up, clear the air on the VibeCat situation and explain kind of what happened on that. Chaotic, but true. It did come from May.
Wow, just a big jam to big thanks to May. She had a team, and Honey, everybody like really worked their ass off to try to engineer yourself. Really worked their ass to make it work. The clear focus here really is on the studio page, and I think that I think we're gonna have to work on it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell me what you want to see. Tell me how we can support you. Maybe read the tweet again. So like anything that you think would be helpful for your creation journey, just reach out and let me know.
Yep. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of features coming up for Jupiverse, right? Yeah.
That's a fact. Well, all right, May. I know it's been a long little while for you. Get some rest, and we'll catch up with you very soon. Thank you, May.
How May is in the alcoholic.
Can you put the recent one? The recent tweet. Dude, this is crazy. Yes, I think so too. By the way, May, secret fact, I think May is alcoholic.
May is definitely not an alcoholic.
I don't know, because I don't know. Is it possible?
I've seen May drink. May cannot. I mean, unless an alcoholic also tops out at 2 drinks, then yes.
I did have a copious amount of wine this week.
It's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, a cat that just escaped, and I'm like, okay, yeah, let's.
Oh, okay, but
let's
okay,
have some wine.
we should do a thing. We should put your tweet out on the page, on the studio page.
Okay, yeah.
That's important. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, it's important. Important. Yeah, and also
Cool.
maybe
All right.
also think maybe a link here from the page as well. I think important as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
We figure some of that out as well. May, we'll catch you very soon. Thanks for coming on, and thanks for all the work.
But May, I think is one last question for you. Why did you and this should probably be clipped up, by the way. Why we had this discussion, right, of like, oh, it's running. Oh, should we I know you wanted to do a demo coin at some point, right? And this wasn't supposed to be it. But what made you choose to go, let's just adopt this one, right? See what I'm saying? Versus creating a new one. I'm saying, yeah. Why? I'm just curious, yeah.
I think it's kind of just maybe spiritual.
What do you mean spiritual?
Like he was just vibing, man. Like he wasn't like thinking too hard. He's a cat, like one brain cell, and he was just vibing. But then like straight out of the gate, it seemed like people liked him, and then there seemed to be like a desire for something like this. Maybe, I don't know, because of the Jup and Joya's connection, people felt that it was something that they liked, and maybe they want to see more of. So I kind of feel like if there is a liking for it and people kind of like staying around, I don't know, just we'll keep vibing then. Vibes are good.
Keep vibing. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and obviously this product hopefully works well. It'll be really fun for the Jup community to do. Yeah, awesome. I'm really excited to see what the Jup community will do. Yep, from here.
Yeah, we keep vibing.
Yep, and yeah. So I mean, I think someone said spiritual is the right answer. Yeah, I think May, you are the this cat is spiritual now. So let's go.
Vibe cat. All right.
Cool. Thanks so much, May. We'll catch you very soon. Bye. All right.
That was fun.
Yeah. Fucking crazy story, honestly.
She was so stressed. She was so stressed.
Yeah.
She was so stressed. She was so stressed. You have no idea. She was so stressed. Yeah.
I didn't find out until much later as well, honestly. All right. Well, with that said, should we wrap up here by talking about Web4 and maybe how Studio kind of fits into this as well?
Yeah. So I think a few things, right? I think that I feel like I feel like one of the things that's actually very important for me is to anchor is to paint a very clear picture of where we see Web4 going, where we see the whole industry going, right? And where's Kash?
Bro, I'm right here. I'm trying to respond to Twitter comments. Go ahead. I'm giving you the stage.
No, come on, stay here for a bit. Come on, give me a break.
Okay. How can I say no to you? How can I say no to you?
No. Okay. Anyway, so I think Kash, let's have a conversation here. Okay, like seriously, real quick. Now, I think what's actually very, very important here is for us to kind of like because yes, I know, right, Mina? Yeah. So I think that what's actually really important here is that as the number of things that Jupiter does grows more and more and more, right? As we start embarking on more like initiatives and ideas and platforms like Jupiter and everything, I think it's actually really important to kind of like establish why, the why. Why do we do all these things, right? Why do we choose to, focus on things that we focus on? Like why super app, right? Like why do we work so hard to make the whole Jupiter mobile super easy to use, right? And like why do we choose to make it like awesome for V2? Like why use the sand and all that kind of stuff, right? Now, and I think that I think the best way to answer this thing is where we, not from us, right, but where we see the space going, right? And what we want. So three things, right? Number one, where we want the space to go, where we see the space going, and what we want to play in it. Make sense? Yeah. So in all three things actually very, very important to define, right? And I think Web4 is actually a really great way to think about it, right? For example, we think that the next wave of the web, I mean, as you know, Web3 has for the last 10 years, right, has been mostly off-chain. Actually, mostly off-chain, right? Most of the vast majority of transactions still happen on Sexes.
Yeah, something like 97% a year ago was still
No
happening
way,
on.
really? Wow.
Yeah, I just saw Blockworks put out a dashboard. I think it's up to 15% now is happening on chain, but I mean that's still 85% is happening on centralized exchanges.
But the shift is coming, right? The shift is coming. Makes sense? The shift is coming, right? Now, I think that so I think that's actually very important. So basically, I think the shift is coming. It's going to be very focused on the on chain, and then as we get on chain, right? I think we're going to see a world of million chains, a billion people on chain, and the trillion tokens, right? You know, so I feel like that's actually very important. And I think that the whole point here is that I think and as this world evolves, I think that and what's actually very important, yeah, precisely, and Morton and Brodsky, precisely, right? We are very early. We're so early in the whole thing, right? And one of the crazy things about things when they're on chain is that they can be unified, right? You cannot actually unify things that are off chain. You can't. Just can't. For example, that and that's a crazy thing people don't understand, right? For example, if your markets are on chain or off chain, whether it's Nasdaq or Binance or everything, right? You cannot actually unify them, right? But then because they're off chain, decentralized, on chain, you can decentralize them, and that gives us a chance to build, obviously, a global unified market, right? Where we'll be able to kind of link up every single asset across any given chain into something that can be transacted immediately and easily, right? And obviously, I think the whole point is that we want Jupiter to become the transaction hub, right? So entry point to the global to Web4.
Sorry.
Right?
Quick clarification, a little fact check on myself. It was around 3 to 5% 2 years ago, not 1 year ago. My fault on the number. But it was
Got it.
Still,
Yeah,
it was 5 to 10% a year ago. Sorry, go ahead.
Got it. Yeah. And I think the second reason, the second reason why I think Web4 is important for us is that I think what's actually very important now is that the vast majority of the world are kind of like almost like in some sense like almost like losing faith a little bit, right? So I'm saying in the scale of crypto, in a sense that I think frankly speaking, most of the assets that are creating now are still like speculative assets, right? And there's also a very big feeling that we have kind of evolved into or devolved into like financial nihilism, whereby it's kind of like nothing else that matters until asset price. I'm saying, I think that's actually what's actually very important for us is that we want to move from we want to help the industry, right? Move from a state of like financial nihilism to like kind of like pragmatic idealism, right? It's actually what we want to do is that we want to actually help to make assets that actually matter, right? They can actually matter in the sense that they are either for like to push any social cause forward, right? Whether a social cause is like building a brand or unifying a community or pushing a movement, right? So I'm saying, and obviously Bitcoin is the best example of that, right? Bitcoin to me, right, is the best example of social money, right? It's a very important asset that has a lot of value, but it's also an asset, right, that unifies the entire community, that became money, right? So I'm saying that is like used and saved and accepted as money by entire community, right? And that this combination of being this combination of being an asset and also a combination of being a money, right, for movement is incredibly powerful, right? And I think that what Web4 is going to be about that, right? It's going to be many coins that figure out how to simultaneously be an asset and still also move a major social cause forward. Yeah. So I think so I feel like that's actually one of the biggest the biggest thing for Web4 to happen. Yeah. And then for us at Jupiter, what's actually really important for us is that we are part of the process, right, of creating this new era of money. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's the full draft of this is available as well, meow.bio/web4. Drop a little W in the chat if you've already read it. My hunch is that most people have. If you haven't, you really should. I think it is one of those classic banger Meow essays that we could use more of. I'm constantly yelling at Matt constantly yelling at him to write more at all times. I think the Web4 vision is so exciting because it fundamentally represents a shift, right?
And one last thing, one last thing is also this, right? I think that one last thing is also that I think so. Basically, I think one last thing is that I think like I think that the Jupiverse, right, should be focused on driving adoption Web4. Yep, I think so, right? In the sense that we should all be going like, hey, what Jupiter products and platforms can we use, right, to actually drive the thing forward? How Jup the token can be the core alignment, right, and social currency for community. And thirdly is that I think thirdly is like how do we actually become how do we as a community, right, how does the Jupiverse community become the best, right, proponents and explainers of the world, right, for the web? I think that's a key thing on the push, Yeah.
I think that the important piece, the reason that this is such an important thing that you're going to hear us talk about in Jup rallies and planetary calls and content and everywhere else, if you're on a fucking phone call with me, you can expect me to bring it up. The reason is that I think it is ideas of a better future that are really motivating to a community of folks, especially as we're trying to grow it and reach new people whose idea and conception of Web3 is largely, oh, that's for scammers, or oh, that's around grifts and rugs and personal enrichment and so on and so forth. And so here what we have is a positive vision of a better future, one that fits in very well with the products and tools that Jupiter is building, and one that fits in very well with the ethos of the community that we already have. So I think what you're going to see is this idea being the kind of tip of the spear to get people a little bit more excited, be like, oh, maybe there's something new that might be more appealing to me personally. People don't know. Web3, or at least I didn't know until like literally today. Web3, the first essay written in 2014. So more than 10 years since that term was coined. And obviously a lot of stuff has happened since then. And so this kind of Web4 idea, I think, is going to be really important for us to continuously build on and explain to bring more people.
I feel like the main thing is, right, so I feel like we are going to see a world whereby like billions of people are going to create tokens and be by the way, guys, when I say create tokens, I don't mean literally create tokens, right? I mean we're going to see a world whereby billions are involved in the token creation process, right? And whether it's not the creation part, the liquidity part, the distribution part, and most importantly, right, the part whereby you actually make it meaningful, right? How do we create a world whereby like the token? No, how do we create a world whereby like we are actually creating like monies, right? That are actually used and adopted by communities, not just launch and finish. I'm saying, yeah. So that's actually very important, right? Now, to me anyway, right? Okay. I mean, I think Bitcoin is the best. I think Bitcoin is actually the best explainer of social money, right? Social money has two key properties. It is both an asset, right, and a valuable asset, and it's also a unifying thing to drive a community forward, right? For example, Bitcoin wouldn't be interesting to anyone, right, if it wasn't an asset that held value, right, that grew in value. And also, but think about it, if Bitcoin was only an asset, right, and it wasn't actually the key driving symbol and mechanism and alignment for entire movement, right? We are all here. Billions of people all around are all here because of Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin started a movement, right? So I think those things are actually very important, right? I think a social money to me, right, is something that has enough asset value so an entire community trusts it to hold it and actually use it, but also serves as a crucial alignment purpose. For any given movement, it can be a brand, it can be a platform, it can be an idea, it can be a meme coin. Doesn't matter, right? I'm saying, and certainly for Jup, for example, right, that's our go-to, right? We want to establish the point by Jup is actually an asset that is actually willingly held and secured and invested in by millions of people, right? But also serves a critical component to drive a mission forward, right? And to me, at least the mission is Web4. Right, same thing with the Jupiter products and ICE at its core. Yeah, so that to me is social money. Same thing. And the reason why I really believe in the idea of social money is because, guys, if we create assets, right, that becomes monies, right? Makes sense? That's meaningful. You see what I'm saying? Because it means that we are actually creating things that get used and adopted by millions of people, right? Not just stuff. And Jupiter's role is actually really important because for millions of people to actually be able to use, right, many like monies, right, you actually need everything to be like really seamless and really easy and really like and like you didn't think about it. You know what I'm saying? You can hold like dozens of monies that you like, same thing, and use it anywhere you want, right? You can actually create lots of stuff and be able to manage them accordingly. So I think that's actually the thing that we care about, at least. So I'm saying about how do we not just create like assets for speculation, so I'm saying, but also kind of like but assets for different monies, yeah. That's it.
That's right.
So, thanks for asking, because thanks for asking. Yeah.
Superb explanation. Very helpful. Thank you. Yeah. So, folks, you're going to see more of this. I think there's already been a few really good pieces of content around here. If you missed it, the Rect collaboration, there's some really good stuff that was written by both OSF, the founder of the Rect side, and Meow. And of course, I think Muse made a really nice video on it. A few people have made some really good content about it. And indeed, the original draft over here, meow.bio/web4, if you want to get even deeper into it. But you can expect much, much more over there. Meow, any other things to say on Web4 before we jump?
No, I think it's pretty important for us to anchor for the entire community and the team and ecosystem to anchor around a given vision. You know what I'm saying? On a given vision, and that's a vision where all the assets are actually on chain, right? And it's all united, and it's all extremely usable and linkable via a single platform, right? In a single interface. And the second thing is that we're a world where I think we actually start to create assets that are used for advancing social causes. Because remember, like the whole point of money, right? Because remember, people have always been creating monies, right, for their own communities and purpose, and we need to return to that world, right? And lastly is obviously I think it'll be amazing it'll be really, really amazing if Jupiverse is actually the community to push the next wave of the world forward. Yeah.
That you can bet on, folks. That you can bet on. All right. I think we're going to, this is not the last that we'll talk about Web4. I can promise you that. You can expect to see more examples, more tools, more things that allow Jupiter to be at the center of this Web4 vision coming up very soon. But I think that'll be about it for this Jupiter Rally. I will say, I'm going to go jump into Discord right after this and hold a little town hall with all the community members. People can jump up on stage, share their thoughts and reactions to anything that we've talked about here and anything else. It'll just be kind of an open forum. So if you want to continue the conversation, jump over to the Jup Discord. Give me 5 minutes to go say goodnight to my kid, and then I will be in the Jupiter Discord to take all questions, hear people's ideas, and kind of plot a path forward, both for Web4 and for the DAO itself.
Well,
I think we did it, Meow. I think we did it.
Oh wow, let's go. Yeah, let's go.
I'm not gonna lie, folks. This was a fraught one. A lot of late night conversations to get us here, but here we are nonetheless. So just to recap, pausing DAO voting until the end of the year. ASR will continue through the end of the year for all stakers. We are going to take that time to refocus, help redesign a new DAO and DAO 2.0 that will be more productive, more aligned, more trusted by all members of the community, and double down the focus on the two things that have made Jupiter great up until this point: high quality products, high quality community. So expect to see even more investment on those both from the Jupiter team. We got to hear the story behind Vibe and how it kind of escaped from its cage. I don't know if you put cats in cages. Escaped from its wherever it is the cats live, and got out there with May, along with a little sneak preview of Jupiter Studio, a new way for creators to kind of engage communities and for communities to form on chain. And then we got a little additional taste of the Web4 vision and why it's so critical to the future of Jupiter. Last words go to you, Meow.
I'm good. Let's go. Yep.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for coming out. You don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here. We'll see you next week, everybody. Goodbye.